Hello, welcome to the BVP podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Cartwright, for the first time in a year now, for the new year, and I'm here with
Maddison Diezi, the Bellville FFA president.
I'm Ainsley Hancock, the Bellville FFA vice president.
All right, perfect. Now, I guess to start off, tell me, what is FFA? What's the reason? What's the source? And what's the major goal of FFA?
So FFA, it's called the FFA organization, but FFA stands for Future Farmers of America. So this organization was first created for, farm boys and ranch hands that were in school taking vocational ag classes as a way to kind of learn in the classroom what to do outside when they graduate. Because back in the day, when they graduated, they would go work in a field, they'd go work at a ranch. But since then, it's transformed into a organization that promotes leadership, that promotes career development, that promotes career success, and many different ways to achieve that goal. So we have many different contests and many different events throughout the year where every student, no matter if they're good at speaking or they're good at kind of the more on paper stuff, they can apply themselves anywhere.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We do a ton of stuff, like Maddie said, like kind of how we started, but it's kind of now changed into something that like allows people to learn. Like public speaking is a lot of the stuff that we do in the fall, and in the spring we do a lot of career development events, which kind of like can set you up for your future and has like kind of showed us a bunch of different career options in agriculture. And so it's kind of just helping all the students realize like what all the opportunities in ag are for your future.
That's awesome. My first question was to ask you, what does FFA have to offer? But I think you already answered everything I could ask for on that. What's the most engaging thing, do you think, about FFA? What originally caught your attention? Because there's the obvious farm hands, and if you come from a family, from like a ranch family, there's obvious benefits in that. But let's say you don't come from any of that. What's the clear, appealing benefits you see from FFA, from maybe even from just a city boy coming into Bellville for the first time?
So for me, I had siblings that have gone through the program before. So my experience is a little more different than Ainsley, who kind of joined on her own. So I kind of saw my siblings go through the program, and I saw them be successful in a lot of events and travel all across the state of Texas in that being successful. But I also saw them make so many different friendships and so many different relationships with other people. And I think that's something that's so amazing about it, is that whenever you go to these contests, you're meeting kids from across the state of Texas, but you end up with a bunch of different friendships. So I saw that as an appealing way to meet and connect with so many different people.
I agree completely. That sounds amazing. How about you?
I like Maddie said, she saw a lot of people go through FFA, and like that was not like my beginning in FFA. My sister did not do it. My mom did, but it just wasn't like a super big thing in my family. I just kind of joined it because a lot of my friends were going to be involved in that, and it seemed like interesting to me. And then like as soon as I got there, all the people and all like the teachers were super friendly, and it just became a family really quickly. And just all the different opportunities, we kind of got thrown into a team like really early on. We like won state our freshman year, and then got shown that there are just like so many different ways to be successful in FFA, and that everybody, like there's always a place for everybody. So it was really exciting to kind of like find your spot.
That's awesome. I'm so happy. I'm loving this already from FFA. The first podcast of the year is already going great. You guys have talked about how you made a lot of friends, from teachers and staff members, even to just people you've met along the way in FFA. What would you say the most helpful thing you've learned in FFA? Maybe a skill you've learned, maybe a person you've met through there? Just anything along the lines that you could see as an important asset that you've learned in FFA. Sorry.
I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of people, especially on our state organization level, many past state officers and area officers and things like that. And so many people that just have so many words of wisdom to give to you as older people, especially during my freshman and sophomore years. But I'd say through this whole program, I've learned that Bellville FFA itself is a very successful program. We like to keep ourselves humble, but we also like to recognize that we have had a lot of success. We've been to the national level. We've been to the state level, one state multiple times. But the thing is that no amount of those banners, no amount of those trips to nationals. None of that really matters. Like, yes, we like to pride ourselves on that. Yes, we did amazing, but it truly, what am I trying to say? It truly, what matters is your person inside, your quality of being a good leader, being able to speak to people, being able to cultivate relationships, being someone that younger members or even older members can come and talk to about something is what we're really trying to do. So it's less about the pride in winning and more about who you are as a person.
The FFA mentality.
Yes.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah, I feel like I've gained a lot of things like that. Like I've obviously, I mean, through sales, the ag sales contest, I feel like I've gained like kind of what I want to do in my future and know that I want to go into the sales industry. But I've also gained like so many relationships with a lot of different people. When you're involved in like a ton of contests and you're constantly out there, these people become like your best friends and your closest family. And so like I definitely believe that we've gained a lot of like relationships through that, and just like learning how to do different things, like learning how to like through a lot of our speaking contests, how to like be personable and how to like go about different things in your life. Like I feel like I would be really prepared to go into the workforce just because I like have good interview skills and things like that I've learned from these contests.
So you're saying that just because it is FFA, a course for typically ranch hands or farmer boys that want to get into it, it's something that teaches you more than just farmer skills. You learn people skills, you learn social skills, you learn management, you learn how to multitask. There's a bunch of skills that has to go into to really kind of, like I just said, that FFA mentality to get. I really like that. All right, we're going to skip on to some more personal questions since you two are two of the big members of FFA. So it being a course, of course, primarily farming and ranching, do you guys have any animals that you've worked with that you felt like this certain animal I feel like I emotionally get or I'm attached with, or maybe this one like I could live without?
Yeah, so through our SAE program, which is our Supervised Agriculture Experience program, is where you see a lot of members get involved with showing animals or raising animals. And for me, I've been doing that since I've been in the 3rd grade. You know, I've had siblings that have done that before me. So I've been through a lot of animals, both during our spring season, which is we call our major season. And then here at the Austin County Fair, I've raised a lot of animals. And there's definitely been some that I have been really attached to. And even though I may not sell them, even though they may just go out into the pasture, I miss having them in the barn. I miss tying them up and working with them every day. But there are some that I just can't wait until they get on that trailer and go to someone else's pasture, because sometimes they are just such a big problem.
Too much.
Yeah, I have sheep, and so I don't think I've really ever had like, I really like my sheep. Like they're sweet. I have 2 this year. Their names are Jimmy and Ducky, but they're really sweet. But I will not be sad whenever they're gone, because sheep are some of the dumbest animals on the planet. And they just do some of the stupidest stuff that I cannot get over it. And I just cannot wait for them to be gone. But they are sweet whenever I have them. And I'm like glad that I have the experience of doing it.
Yeah, I feel like growing up in somewhere like Bellville, you naturally become accustomed to seeing farm animal and ranch type animals like cows, goats, donkeys, even in my case, weirdly. Like I personally have always been a huge fan of cows just because I've seen them everywhere. I'm so used to seeing cows. It's kind of like a home thing. In and out of FFA, so in the FFA program or just a free animal, if there was one animal you could choose to be for a day to a lifetime, which would that animal be? Just to blissfully be in peace. There's no restrictions here.
You go first. I need time to think.
All right, I get it. Well, I would say my favorite animal, but I also like have always really wanted to like fly. Like, so I would say a bird, a type of bird, but if it was my favorite animal, a sea lion, because they can kind of like, they're the best. They can like bounce so funny. Have you ever seen a video of them, like the way that they like walk, they like bounce? It's hilarious. And they can also do like tricks and stuff. So funny. I
went to New Jersey over the summer. I saw sea lion jump through a hoop, and the lady kept trying to be like, okay, now he's gonna jump through the hoop. He kept going under the hoop, and every single time she asked him, be like, oh hey, everybody clap, good job.
Yeah, that'd be me as a sea lion. I'd be like the one that is not that good at doing any of the tricks. Like I'd be the one that's like not trained that well.
They still clap though. They still give you.
Yeah, they still clap for me. And like she tried her hardest.
There's so many animals out there.
It's a hard question.
I think
You'd so be cool. The drow bear?
okay, so there's these bears, and I truly don't know if they're real or not because I've
Might
heard.
fact check this.
Yeah, somebody needs to fact check this, but I saw it on TikTok, so my facts are a little off. But they're called drop bears, and they look exactly like koalas. They're exactly like koalas, except they have really, really sharp teeth, and they hang out in the trees, and they eventually like drop down on people and attack them. And I'm not saying I would attack anyone. I'm not a vicious.
But that is so Maddie. She like looks so cute on the outside, but she's very like scary.
But I think that'd be quite interesting if they're real.
Funniest thing, I think I've heard something about that in Carolina or somewhere about just a bear that they were like saying like, oh, it's been a lot of deers dying around here lately. And they go, I'm like, this isn't a hunter. Something fell on this deer and just attacked it from the back. And they're like,
Those are the drop bears.
drop bears. They're out there. They're not, they're like Sasquatch. They don't want to be seen, but they're after you. Oh. All right, let's go on to another question away from the drop bear attack. If there's one fictional character you could see yourself relating to or being, what would that fictional character be? From a book, from a series, just from anything? It could even be a non-fictional character as well.
You gotta take this one again.
I have a 10-minute reference.
Me too. I don't watch a lot of TV. I feel like Ainsley knows this. She always berates me for not watching popular movies.
She has never seen like any movies, like anything that, like, what's a movie that I always say that you don't see? Like, she's never seen The Notebook.
Yeah, I've never watched The Notebook.
I've seen The Notebook, and I'm a man.
I've never seen The Notebook. I've never watched Footloose. I've never seen Dirty Dancing. Like, I haven't seen any of those movies.
Those are some of the best movies ever. Dirty Dancing?
Never watched it.
Miss Bailey,
You're such a problem. You're such a problem.
Anyways, take the question.
No, you go ahead. You know more like you're theater. You know more like people.
People? Oh, I don't know. This is so hard. Who do I relate to?
They're gonna have to cut out half the time we're thinking on this question.
Where's a fictional drop bear character? Let me look.
That's me.
If the question's too hard, I can always skip. There is a lot of fictional characters, just like animals.
I relate to, or who I want to be?
You could be one that you want to be. You could just say one you relate to as well.
I have always loved Rapunzel. Has been my favorite Disney princess ever. I love Rapunzel.
That's actually valid. That made me think about. Yeah, I would be Pocahontas. As a child, like I loved Pocahontas. She is like such a baddie. Like I'm not even joking. Pocahontas is just like. I don't know. I was so impressed with her. Like I used to like think I was so cool. Like pretend I was her like in my backyard. Or like draw her little like tattoo. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
She's so cool.
I think Rapunzel just because I used to have really long hair before I cut it. We don't talk about me with long hair, but I used to have really long hair and I used to think I was Rapunzel. And I thought it would just be so cool to carry around like a frying pan to defend myself with. Like.
And a little iguana too on your shoulder.
Right. The chameleon too.
Oh, the chameleon. That's what it was. Yes.
I don't like reptiles, but I'll stick it out for the chameleon.
I'll be honest. I was a weird child. I always wanted to be. You guys ever watched that dinosaur train as a child?
Yes.
I always wanted to be the conductor of the dinosaur train. Deeply in my heart, I wanted nothing more to be the. I wanted to be the blood and not enter the corner ride. And I was just like, I want to be that. It's not fair. And I think me and my mom got in an argument one time. She's like, you can't have that as an aspiration. And I was like, it is.
We all have weird little like jobs that we want to be as kids.
My brother wanted to be, I think he said I think it was a basketball player on the moon. And my mom was just like, honey.
Yeah, I used to always want to be a DJ really bad.
I remember I had that one too. I used to play like those like early Roblox games where I could like change music and I'd be like, I'm the coolest guy here. I am so cool.
Valid. That is valid.
So you two are obviously really close friends. You guys have been at FFA through this, and I'm sure been friends longer than that. So I have 2-for-1 questions for you. I'm going to start off easy. Where did you grow up? If you grew up here, if you grew up somewhere far, and Do you have any nicknames for each other? Uh-oh.
Do we say that?
Oh my God, to cut it out.
And stumbling.
You could always say, some classroom nicknames too, if that's a little more.
And we say these in the class.
No bad words. They're just not the nicest.
They just might be rude.
Names.
What are your friends? Your friends.
So I grew up in Wallace. I went to Brazos up until 6th grade, and then I moved here in 7th because my mom got a job at the junior high, so I moved with her.
I grew up in Bellville, been here my whole life, so yeah.
And my name, Ainsley's name in my Snapchat is actually Fat Lard.
And Maddie's name in my Snapchat is actually Lardo.
And we went back and forth. We played with Larda Kiss.
Larda Kiss.
Other names. Fatty.
Lots of fatty.
Where did this fat come from?
I don't know. I don't really think that it's just
came out of nowhere one day. Someone just said
everything that we do, we just call the other one fatty for it, no matter what it is. No matter what it is,
so
they're fatty.
So it could be the most Monday things. Like I went and helped my mom pick up groceries. Oh, you're so fat.
Yeah, I don't want to go help my mom pick up.
Of course, you needed to go walk and bring the groceries in. Of course, you needed that.
Of course, you wanted to go get the groceries because you needed to eat that food later.
Yeah, exactly.
God, it's so personal.
We don't really need it. Most turn.
Okay, moving on away from the.
That might be too much.
Moving away from the faticus. What would you say your either personal, you're like, this is my strength, or your claim to fame you would call? Like maybe a personality trait, a physical trait, an accomplishment you have gotten through?
I'd say I answer this in a funny way, not in a serious way.
I'd say I have a very domineering personality. I feel like I'm very, very dominant. Like I want it this way. I'm going to tell you what to do. When I was younger, I was very much called bossy all the time. And I feel like it's a really big strength for me because I'm not afraid to be out and be a go-getter, be the one in the room that stands up to do something. So I'd say that's definitely a strength for me.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely your thing. Like the reason why I feel like we're good friends is because you're a type A personality and I'm type B, and I feel like you need a type B to chill you out for a second.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
Well, that's important to have an FFA, having a, like you were talking about leadership aspects, and sometimes there's a lot of the newer kids joining an FFA. I know there's a lot of freshmen that come out of the blue, and I don't believe junior high has if they do, a not very prominent FFA course, but they need that kind of leadership because sometimes they need that kind of teacher-like figure that isn't a teacher to kind of show them this is how you can turn out. This is how the way will go. So, Ainsley, do you have anything?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I say that my strength is probably being I feel like I'm a pretty fun, a nice person, pretty fun. I feel like people think that I'm easy to talk to. I feel like people are very much. I feel like I think I'm welcoming, or people think I'm easy to talk to, or they wouldn't be scared to come up to me most of the time. So most of the time.
Yeah. That's great, and I think that's good for both of you because in FFA you guys talked about how the older senior kids kind of take over not a teacher role but a leadership role in the classroom, and you're going to need a little bit of that balance. So for example, let's say maybe you were saying Maddie was being a little intense, a kid can go over to you and kind of help out. Or maybe
if Maddie makes him cry, I just hug him.
Do not make him cry.
I console them after.
Or maybe there's a kid that's a little maybe more rambunctious and out of loop that kind of needs that discipline over them. But I think it's a good way to lead into the next question. How does FFA help its members? How does it, from outwards, from even emotionally, or just there? How are they just there for their members and community?
Absolutely. So there's definitely a very home aspect of FFA. Ainsley touched on that a lot before, but whether it's advisors, whether it's other members, whether it's someone you meet at an event, there's going to be someone there for you to talk to. It's a big place where a lot of people call home. And I think that's so amazing that we can offer this aspect of having somewhere where you fit in, even if you're, you know, really talented in public speaking, you fit in really well, or even if you're kind of that shy introverted person that just got this really smart brain and can do all of these, you can ID a bunch of plants or do something like that. You'll find your people either way. And I think that's really amazing. But we also have the career aspect, the outlooks of when you graduate, where are you going to go from here? And that comes in a lot of different ways. That comes from, you know, finding your place. Like Ainsley found her place in sales, and that's where she wants to be when she graduates high school and then graduates college. She wants to go into that sales force. But there's also helping you to get along that way. Texas FFA actually offers huge scholarships at the end of the year for the seniors. This past year, we've had 2 seniors get $20,000 scholarships from Texas FFA, just from how much they did and how successful they were in the program. So we're not only having a place for you to call home, we're setting you up to go out into the real world.
Setting you up for success.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like Maddie said, there's a ton of scholarship opportunities throughout FFA. If you get involved, you have a very good chance of getting a good amount of money to go to school and pursue all of the different things that you have, all the different opportunities you found in FFA. But other than that, definitely just like she said, as a family, and I feel like I could go to anybody, and I have gone to our teachers and stuff for things that have nothing to do with FFA, and they care about you no matter what, and no matter what your issue is or what's going on with you. So definitely just a family, and you have a lot of different opportunities when you're here and after, and it's it sets you up with a lot of good connections. I think it's a really good thing to get involved in school.
I absolutely agree. And for one, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been great. And I have one last question for you. For any new freshmen coming in, the spring chicken of the school, what advice would you give someone new to join FFA if they are scared, if they're nervous, if maybe they're just kind of don't feel like they fit in? Is there any advice you give to someone knowing that you were a senior now and you were once a freshman in the same spot?
So there's actually this past summer, so I'm an area officer in FFA, and I had the opportunity to go to State Leadership Conference held at Texas Tech University in Lubbock. And we had this amazing speaker come talk to us. He was keynote speaker. He came to talk to us, and he said, 20 seconds of courage. Take your 20 seconds of courage to do whatever it is you're going to do. And I think that's something that you just have to think about as a freshman. Take that 20 seconds to go to the counselor's office to get in that ag class, or even if it's the spring, I don't know if it's too late. Even if it's the spring semester, take that 20 seconds to go in and change your class. Take that 20 seconds to walk up to that advisor and say, hey, I want to be involved. And that's truly going to change your life, because from then on, we have so many advisors that are willing to work with you and to find a place where you fit in, because there truly is a place for everyone. So it's just a matter of getting up enough courage to do it. Even if you think it may not be the right thing for you, you can always end up backing out if it's really not something for you. But I truly think it is an organization that can change your life for the better.
Just that 20 seconds of courage, that can really change it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like Maddie said, you can always change your class and get into an ag class. Even you don't have to be a freshman to start off in ag. You can join your sophomore year, you can join your junior year. And there's always gonna be a place for people there. There's so many different opportunities and so many different things that you can get involved in. And I think that the freshmen just try something new. Don't be scared to try something, because then you're never gonna succeed in what you're trying to do. You're never gonna succeed in anything if you don't try anything new, because you don't start out doing half the stuff you do whenever you're in high school. You have to take a chance and try it to get out there,
Yeah, because you might have regrets if you never try it, because then you'll be like, oh, what if I did that?
Yeah.
I completely agree. Thank you so much for your time and joining us on BVP today. I'm Aaron Cartwright, your host of BVP Podcast. Thank you for joining us today.